Sige, go.
All right, so this is actually the continuation of the coaching session we just had. All right, so I noticed you took off your jacket this time, but to continue my question before I was we had to stop the previous recording. Basically, what could we have done to go ahead and change both of that members' experience regarding non-paying buyers?
For non-paying buyers, what I have probably done is that I failed to, ask questions that will, triggers this member to share more about his experience with
Mm-hmm.
those buyers who's not settling their payments from their purchases. I failed to do so. In that case, I might have asked this member more questions like, um, since you've experienced this a lot of stuff, what makes you or does it makes you doubt or something like, what is it that you want eBay to do for you uh to stop this type of thing to happen again in the future, most especially in your account. I mean,
Right.
in selling
That's
items on eBay. Mhm.
right. Those are definitely good questions that we could have asked those members. And now you telling me this, what hindered you from asking those kind of questions to the member during those times?
In that part, probably I'm not that confident asking questions because what I've focused during that time, based on what I have remembered, is that I am very much focusing. I'm actually focusing on what this member. Um, I'm overthinking what this member really wanted to happen, and I'm very much focused on the negative feedback actually.
Mm, I see.
Um,
All right. Go ahead. Yeah.
and without knowing that this member really wanted to know something, like that's because I failed to ask questions, so I'm lack of confidence during that time.
Right.
I mean,
Okay, I can understand. You mentioned earlier in the topics of completing a sale, it's an eight, and I can understand why you couldn't ask those kind of questions is because you really felt did not feel confident dealing with those topics. Now, so I want to ask, what what was something that was holding you back that made you less confident about that topic? Is it?
because
Mm-hmm.
um because I'm not too certain what is if my answers are correct. And
For what concern?
what is wrong with me is probably because I'm not utilizing my tools to look for um, answers, like a
Okay.
confirmation, because I have a lot of questions in mind. However, I was not able to ask that from the member.
Okay. Like what
Uh,
kind of questions you mean in mind?
like, um, if this member, I mean, what is it really that this member really wanted to happen, or wanted to know or happen, because this member is really complaining. Like, this member states a lot of information about his, like, he knows
Non-paying
how this
buyers,
unpaid,
right?
yes, this
Right.
process is. So
Now, when all right, some a little segue here is that when sellers are calling about non-paying buyers and they know often about the unpaid item case and they have experience about non-paying buyers, why do you think, why do you feel that members are a bit concerned about non-paying bonds?
because they're exerting their effort in listing this item, and it seems like like they're just doing this thing without and they're not earning anything from it because
Right.
uh, they're exerting their time and effort listing those items and then they're not
Mm,
benefited. They did not get any benefit on it. I mean,
right.
they're not earning on it.
Exactly. And if we just answer them with that you just open an unpaid item case, how do members feel that how are we protecting them with non-paying buyers? What's one thing that you would say to them?
Um, the reason why, I mean, are you asking if
Okay, let me rephrase that. So,
mhm.
what are your talking points when sellers ask that there's a lot of these non-paying buyers?
Oh, okay. So what I can say is that they can set up by requirements that will help this type of members from or this buyers from doing transaction on on this buyer. I mean, on the sellers and in the future, like blocking those type of buyers was not settling their payments or purchases. I mean, or if this member has issues with those or buyers with low feedback, then
Mm-hmm.
or this member is really wanted to know what protection eBay could give um, for this type of buyers. I
Right,
mean,
these non-paying buyers. So,
mhm.
um, what are other? So you mentioned there's a lot of effort in relisting the item and not actually having to do an unpaid item chase, then closing it the following. So, what are ways that we can actually lessen that effort for that member for those kind of transactions where buyers don't pay?
Like what do you mean? Like what we can advise this member?
Yeah, what are things that we can advise? What are things that we can help them do to lessen dealing with unpaying buyers? Because most of them, no one likes dealing with unpaying buyers, right?
Right,
Um,
right.
Especially if it's on and on. Sometimes some sellers do get fed up with that. So, what are ways that we can actually help them out with lessening their time in dealing with those kind of situations? Would you happen to
Um,
know?
require immediate payment of
Okay, that can
um,
be. What
mhm.
else?
Aside from
W-
that, set up buyer requirements, of course.
Okay, all right, good. Now, I want you to keep in mind, in line with opening an unpaid item case and making it easy for them, what's one thing
Oh,
that
okay.
they can do?
Like they will going to set up unpaid item assistance.
Very good, right? Because that is one thing that is gonna definitely help them. So those are three things that you can actually throw at them, right? We have unpaid item assistance here that would actually prevent you from having to deal with these buyers, and these unpaid item cases would actually lead to removing or minimizing these type of buyers on eBay because eventually there would be restrictions in place for non-paying buyers, right? So those are
Right.
things that you can actually say, and then the additional would be the what do you call this? The buyer requirements on that. Okay, so
Okay.
those are one things that we can actually do. So right now, um, so going back is that prevented you from asking those kind of questions. But along with just like the first call, there was a question. But what's after asking these questions, what's also important after getting those informations from our members?
Like you need to inform this member of what will be um the things that could be done to avoid this, coach.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let's go back. So what I was saying, or the question was saying was, um, after we ask questions to our members and those open-ended questions, and we ask those probing questions, what's a key part there after we get all those informations? What is one thing we need to do with our members as
To I'm not certain, but what the I mean, you mean to say that what we can do to this member
well? Yeah, what's the next thing
after?
we should do after? Okay, let's hear. Let's put one as an example. After, just like on the first call, um, what happened was member was concerned, was very direct with what his concern is. I want to know why their buyers paying and why they're not. You put the member on hold. You get back. Oh, you have to open up the case, like because you asked about all right, what would you like to what kind of help would you like for this transaction? That was a good question. They opened up about a bunch of things, and then you get back and just talking about unpaid item case. The next thing, member felt that he was unheard, so he stated his concern again. So after we get these kind of information, what is something we need to do to follow up on
um Aside from
that, especially when you're having a conversation with someone?
asking,
Mhm.
like, acknowledge
Right. Acknowledge.
or
So
Mhm.
go ahead. You were saying acknowledge. What else?
Yeah, acknowledge, then you know, understand what this member really feels every time that this member had this transaction,
Right.
so that you
So
can
those
relate.
good,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in addition to asking questions, just maybe a bit on just gaining that agreement with that member, paraphrasing, acknowledgement. Those are ways that you can still get that mutual agreement with our members as well. Because again, mutual agreement does not always mean I understand you're coming from on this. It can actually, there are other ways that you can do it, which is why asking those kind of confirming questions, those are one ways that you can actually get that mutual agreement from our members. Okay. So just
Okay.
after asking those probing questions is about a matter of following up with those kind of questions as well. Okay.
Okay,
So
coach.
um, what would be our your action plan in place then, um, especially for these kinds of topics, which is completing a sale, we're dealing with non-paying buyers.
um in order, of course, we need to focus first. um we need to focus on what is really the desired outcome of this member, and um never assume that this is the thing that this member wanted to happen. I mean, yes. So we need to ask proven questions all the time, most especially if we really don't understand or really get the point of this member yet, what this
Okay.
member really wanted to happen, because it will just prolong the call, and not being efficient for that, because yeah, the call was already prolonging the call without understanding and without giving the best resolution that we could give, which is not resolving the customer's issue. So I need to be more efficient, ask proven questions,
All right.
and as well as acknowledge.
Right. And what kind of probing questions are you going to be asking this member or your
This
members in the
time,
future?
mhm, I could probably ask this member, since you had this experience with your previous buyers, um, what is uh, what is the thing that you want eBay to do, or I mean us to help you with, or is there any suggestion that you could give us that we you wanted us to do in the future that we could apply in our future processes, or
Right,
I
right.
mean,
Those are actually a good question. Shortening it something like maybe regarding unpaying buyers, and I believe you heard about unpaid item case. What is one thing that we can actually help you most, right? So
mhm.
something like that. So if it's the process, they would probably open up about well, for you, what do you think they would open up on if we ask
um
them questions
they
or
were going to open up
possibilities?
what experience they had with eBay.
Right.
um Yes, and what is the thing that they wanted to stop from happening over and over again, and what will be the thing that they'll be asking what will be the ways they can benefit though, because they already exerted their time and effort. So what are the best things that they can do, you know, to make their business better here on eBay?
Right. So
Like,
that's very good. And like
oh, nothing. Coach.
well, like the things that you said earlier, right? And so what's one takeaway that you would have in this, or just some of the takeaways that you would have?
Takeaway. You just need to be yourself and asking question. Always put yourself on the members end for you to better understand what they feel and what they really wanted to happen. Because if you put yourself on their end, um, it will widen your imagination, I mean, your thoughts about things that if you are the one who will experience that, what are the things that you wanted to happen as well. So you will better understand the customers, and and it will be much easier for you to help them.
Right, that's good. So I like that. All right, and that's hope that's something that would actually stick. All right, and I know it will actually stick because the last time we had a conversation about UV fees, started doing so well with those kind of conversations. So keep it up, part. So this week is a new challenge. This new quarter is a new challenge, one topic at a time, and let's see how it goes moving forward. And I really hope to hear these type of calls about completing a sale and especially dealing with these type of buyers, um, and see how those kind of conversations would go. And I would also love if you can send me SRs that, hey coach, here's a perfect example, here's I executed them, or something that, hey coach, I had one of these calls, I still had troubles on it, can we listen to it, something like that. I would still appreciate it. So throughout this week, my goal, Ryan, is listen to a few calls that you may have, especially with these topics, good nor bad. I would still listen to them to see how we're going with our plan as well. Okay, and
Okay,
hoping that
coach.
next week we can go ahead and follow up on as well. All right,
Okay, thank you so
all right,
much, coach.
all right. Questions, clarifications, any outbursts?
None so far. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much as well, Harry. You may go back. Thank you.
All right, coach, bye.